Good morning, everyone. This is our lecture 5, subject physical education, class 12th, chapter number 3, yoga and lifestyle. And in this lecture, we are also going to discuss the answers from the questions given in lecture number 4, homework. This is the subtopic 3.6, and this is the last subtopic from the chapter. The topic is back pain, procedure, benefits and contraindications of preventive asanas. Now, when we talk about back pain, it is very important for you to understand that back pain involves a lot of things. It might be a strain which is causing a pain in the back, and it might be a strain in your bones, joints, muscle or ligament. It might be any kind of a injury, it might be any kind of a damage, it might be due to any kind of accident. So the back pain includes all these things. It also include like your ligaments, if there is a wear and tear in your ligament or wear and tear in your overuse of back muscles, or the joints or the bones. Now it may be cervical, thoracic or lumbar region. Now it may be in your cervical region, it may be in your thoracic region, or it may be in your lumbar region. And for the better understanding, through this picture you can understand that when we talk about the cervical pain, that cervical pain is in your upper back. The thoracic pain, that blue area you can see here, that is your thoracic area, and that pain is mostly in your middle area. And lumbar region pain, we normally call it as lower back pain. Now it may be acute or chronic. Acute means for a smaller period of time, for it might be for few days or few weeks. But when we say it as chronic, so chronic is something which goes from weeks to years. It is like a long run. For example, you have a back pain for a longer period of time, so you can say that this is chronic back pain. Now sometimes the pain also radiate, or it also spreads in other regions like arm, hips and legs. So if you have back pain, it might also cause pain in your arms, hips or legs. Now the causes, see, repeated heavy lifting of any object or anything, or a sudden awkward movement, like for a sudden you had, if you have twisted or turned and that particular movement is not natural, that can also be a cause of back pain or of any kind like muscle pain or spinal or ligament pain. So now moving towards the asanas to prevent and cure back pain are, the first one is your Tadasana. The procedure is stand up in attention position. So you have to stand up in attention position. I hope you all understand. You just have to stand straight, erect without moving. Lift your arms upward, stretch your hands upward. So for that thing, what you have to do is you have to lift your arms and stretch them upward. You can also interlock your fingers first and then lift your arms. It depends how you wanted to do it. Raise your heels and come on your toes. So in this asana, you don't have to stand on your full sole. You need to stand on your toes. For that, you need to raise your heels first, stand on your toes, and then pull your body upward. Try and stretch your body upward so that you can feel that stretch in your legs, your abdomen, as well as your arms. After some time, breathe out slowly and come to the previous position. After that, what you have to do is you have to exhale, and while exhaling, come back to the initial position, that is the attention position. Repeat the same exercise 10 to 15 times. So you can repeat the exercise for about 10 to 15 times. It depends on your own capacity of doing it. Now the benefits of Tadasana. It is useful in developing physical and mental balance. So while we are performing this asana, we need to stand in a very balanced and stable position. That is why it helps in developing our physical balance. And while performing this asana, as we need to balance our body, so so we need to be very concentrated and focused while performing this asana, which also enhance our mental ability. So it is useful in developing both physical and mental balance. It reduces obesity, the second benefit. So how it reduces obesity is while performing Tadasana, we actually put a lot of resistance because we are stretching our body, and a lot of muscles are working in it. That is why it helps in reducing obesity. It also it helps in elimination of excess body fat. It cures constipation. Like in point number 4, you can see it cures digestive problems. Whatever problems we have uh, in our digestive system, it helps in curing those problems, and constipation is one of them. So you can understand that when the digestive system is enhanced while performing this asana, so it also cures constipation. It improves body posture. As we stand erect, we stand straight, all of our body parts are stretched in a proper way, the movements are proper. That is why it improves the body posture. It elevates sciatica. It is an excellent asana for those who wants to enhance their height. So it is very important for you to understand that stretching helps in enhancing the height. It is beneficial in treating hypertension also. Contraindications. The first contraindication are, if you have low blood pressure, you should not do this asana. So if you have low blood pressure, one must not perform this asana. In case of headache or insomnia, one must not again perform this asana because it might strain your nerves in the brain, and it might also be more harmful if you already have some sleeping disorders. So it might be a problem. That is why one should not perform this asana. Individuals who suffer from blood circulation problems such as faulty valves should not perform this asana. So those who all are having problems in their blood circulation, for example faulty valves or any of the circulation problems or arteries problem, one must not perform this asana. Second asana is Ardh Matsyendra Asana. The procedure is the left heel is kept under the right thigh and right leg is crossed over the left thigh. So before understanding the procedure, it is very important for you to understand the initial position. So as it is given in figure number 1, this is how you need to start this asana, and it will make it much more easier for you to learn the asana also. So sit in the position given in figure number 1. Then then what you have to do is that right leg will be crossing over your left thigh first. So start from crossing over the left thigh with your right leg, and on its own you will see that the left heel has come under the right thigh. So you will be starting like this. Sit in the initial position as it is shown in image 1. Then the right leg will be crossing over the left thigh, and then in this process only the right thigh will be over the left heel. After that, hold the right toe with left hand and turn your head and back to the right side. So for touching the right toe with your left hand, you need to turn. So you turn your head as well as back to the right side. And for this thing also, you need to move your trunk sideways. As you move your trunk sideways and you move your you turn towards the right side, you will be able to touch your right toe with the left hand. This is the whole the final position of the asana, as you can see in that figure which is down there, a colored figure there. So this is how you need to do it. You can also keep the hand which is behind her back, you can also keep that hand behind you like it is shown in figure number 5. So these are the two methods you can do it. These are the two final positions to do Ardha Matsendra Asana. Then perform the same asana in the reverse position and then perform it again in the reverse position. The benefits are it keeps gallbladder and prostate gland healthy. It enhances the stretchability of back muscles as the whole process you have seen. So it helps you in keeping the gallbladder and prostate gland healthy, and it also enhances the stretchability, the flexibility of the back muscles and the joints also. It elevates digestive ailments. It regulates the secretion of adrenaline and bile and thus is recommended in yogic management of diabetes also. So this asana is useful for diabetes as well. It is also useful or helpful in treating sinusitis, bronchitis, constipation, menstrual disorders, urinary tract disorders, and cervical spondylitis. So all these can be treated with the help of this asana, and each and every asana we are studying in this book just not only cure back pain or particularly hypertension, but they also cure a lot of diseases which are related to them. So you might have seen there are a lot of asanas which we might have studied in obesity also. They might have repeated in back pain, or they might have repeated in hypertension or asthma. So a single asana can be helpful in preventing and curing a lot of lifestyle diseases. Now the contraindications. Women who are 2 or 3 months pregnant should avoid this asana. The individuals who suffer from peptic ulcer, hernia, hypothyroidism should perform this asana only under expert guidance. The individuals who have the problem of sciatica and slipped disc may benefit from this asana, but they need to take great care while doing this asana. So the third asana is Vakra asana. Before starting the procedure, I'll tell you that don't get confused between Vajra asana and Vakra asana. These are two different asanas. Many of the students normally get confused between these two, but Vakra asana is different and Vajra asana is entirely different. Now the procedure. Sit down and stretch your legs straight. So you need to sit down straight and the legs will be open straight in front of you. Fold the right leg and keep the right leg's heel touching the right leg's knee. So now what you need to do is that while sitting straight, just fold your right knee. So you need to fold it upwards, and after folding it or bending the knee, keep your heel with beside the other leg's knee. So this is what you need to do. Now hold your right ankle. So what you need to do is you need to turn sidewards and with your left arm touch your right ankle. Push your right knee as far as possible. So you need to push your knee, as you can see in the figure also. The individual has kept the right hand beside the left leg and she's trying to push the knee with the help of the elbow outward. Now twist your trunk to the right side. So now push your trunk to the right side. Take sufficient support of left arm. So take the support of the arms, both left and right. Now repeat the same procedure with the left side. So now you have to do the same procedure to your left side also. And the benefits and contraindications are, so benefit is it improves the function of both spinal cord and nervous system. It prevents and controls diabetes. It strengthens kidneys. It helps in reducing chronic back pain and shoulder pain. It gives relief in stiffness of vertebra. It reduces belly fat. So these are the benefits of Vakrasana. The contraindications are: avoid this asana in case of high blood pressure. Individuals who suffer from peptic ulcers should not perform this asana, and this asana should not be performed who suffer from serious back injury. The fourth one is Shalabhasan. Procedure is: in order to perform Shalabhasan, lie down in prostrate position. The prostrate position means that you have to lie down on your belly on a plain surface. Spread the thighs backward. That means you have to stretch your legs backward properly. Hold your fist and extend the arms. So now hold your fist and extend the arms backward. Keep your fist under the thigh and then raise your leg slowly as high as you can. So you can keep your palms under the thigh, or you can even raise your arms upward. It can be done in both the ways, as you can see in the colored figure down there, or you can also see in the figure up there. So these are the two methods of doing it. You can keep your palms or fist under the thigh, and you can also raise your palms up. For best results, hold this position for 2 to 3 minutes. It depends on your capacity for how long you can actually hold, and then lower your legs and the upper body slowly downwards. Repeat the same action for 3 to 5 times. The benefits are: it provides relief to person who have mild sciatica and slip disc problem. It strengthens the muscles of the spine, buttocks and back of the arms and legs. It improves posture. It stimulates abdominal organs. It helps in relieving stress. It alleviates back pain. It helps in removing constipation. Contraindications are: people with weak spine should avoid this asana, as you need to use your spine in this asana. The main region which is used, that is spine only. That is why if you have a weak spine, one must not perform this asana. The individuals with weak heart, high blood pressure and coronary problems. So coronary problems are: the coronary artery disease develops when the major blood vessels that supply your heart with blood, oxygen and nutrients become damaged or diseased. So if you have any kind of problem related to your heart, it might be blood pressure, it might be coronary artery diseases, one must not perform this asana. The last asana is Bhujangasana. So the procedure is: in this asana, the body posture remains like a snake. That is why it is called Bhujangasana. So as you can see from the figure, the final position which an individual will take, it looks more like a snake posture. That is why it is known as Bhujangasana. In order to perform this asana, lie down on the belly on the ground. Keep your hands near the shoulders and keep them all very with balanced and stable way, because you need to carry your or raise your body with the help of arms only. Now straighten your arms slowly and raise your chest. As you can see from figure number 2 to 3, one has actually straightened the arms and raised the chest. Your head should be backward. Keep this position for some time, then get back to the formal position. Formal position is the initial position, that is lying down on the ground on your belly. For good results, perform this asana 3 to 5 times. Benefits are: it alleviates obesity, it provides strength and agility, it gives relief from disorders of urinary bladder, it cures the diseases of liver, it improves blood circulation, it makes the vertebral column flexible and thin, it cures gas disorders, constipation and indigestion, it strengthens the muscles of hands. The contraindications are this asana should be avoided who suffer from hernia, back injuries, headaches, and recent abdominal surgeries. Second, pregnant women should not perform this asana. So, that was the end of our chapter, and this is the homework for this lecture. Question number 1, explain the procedure of Shalabhasan. Question number 2, explain the procedure of Vakrasan. Question 3, explain the procedure and benefits of Ardha Matsyendra Asan. Now the answers of questions from homework of lecture number 4. The first question was, what do you understand by systolic and diastolic blood pressure? Answer, the top number refers to the amount of pressure in your arteries during the contraction of your heart muscles. This is called systolic pressure. The bottom number refers to your blood pressure when your heart muscle is between beats. This is called diastolic pressure. Question number 2, write the procedure of Ardha Chakrasana. So the answer is, procedure of Ardha Chakrasana is, stand straight with both feet together, hold your hips with your hands, bend backwards without bending your knees with slow inhalation. Remain in this pose for some time. Do it 2 to 3 times. Question number 3. What are the benefits of Shavasana? Write any 5. So answer is, benefits of Shavasana. Now there were like 10 to 11 benefits. I have chosen 5 of them. You can also write any 5 out of them. It strengthens the nervous system. It controls high blood pressure. It relieves mental tension. It helps to cure many cardiac problems. It relaxes and calms the complete body. The last question was, explain the procedure and benefits of Tadasana. The procedure of Tadasana is, stand up in attention position, lift your arms upward, stretch your hands upward, raise your heels, come on your toes. Also pull up your body upwards. After some time, breathe out slowly and come to the previous position. Benefits of Tadasana are, it is helpful in developing physical and mental balance. It reduces obesity. It cures constipation. So this is the end of the lecture. Thank you.